Hi everyone, Petrik here. So for today's video, this will be a spoiler-free book review of Shadows Upon Time by Christopher Ruocchio. So yeah, this is the seventh and the final book in the Sun Eater series, and well, I can't believe this. It's finally over. And yeah, Empire of Silence came out in the year 2018. So when you think about it, that's like seven books, seven big books by Christopher Ruocchio in 7 years, and that's something truly incredible. I did not start reading the Sun Eater series until the year 2023. That's 2 years ago, and even then, reading all the journey that happened in the Sun Eater series up to Hadrian, Marlowe, it felt like I have went through tons of insane adventures together with Hadrian, Marlowe, and the characters inside the Sun Eater series. And today, I'll be talking about, in a spoiler-free manner, about my thoughts on Shadows Upon Time, the seventh and the final book in the Sun Eater series. And unlike the six previous reviews on its Sun Eater main novels, well, I'm not writing any notes here. No notes, no bullet points. I'm just going to talk about my thoughts as spoiler-free as possible about Shadows Upon Time, because it is a busy period of time for me, and I just want to get these thoughts out of the way because it's been driving me nuts. But you know what? Shadows Upon Time, it is amazing. It is another masterpiece from Christopher Ruocchio, and overall, if you do not want to know my full thoughts about this book, let me just say that you have to try reading this book. I think we are blessed to encounter a science fantasy or a science fiction series as good and on the level of scale, well, emulated in the Sun Eater series. It is rare to encounter a series like this right now. At least from my experience, I have tried reading a lot of new release as well, but to encounter a science fiction and science fantasy on this level, well, you can probably count with my fingers, and I'm not counting Xiaoxin fingers here. It is human fingers, not Xiaoxin 12 fingers. But yeah, it is absolutely incredible, and it felt bittersweet, not gonna lie, to be done with this series. I have a lot of a soft spot for this series after all, and I think many of you actually found out about my channel through my passion and love for the Sun Eater series. I consider this one, the Sun Eater series, together with the Red Rising Saga, to be the best sci-fi series of all time. Yeah, these two series are the best sci-fi series of all time for me. And right now, somehow, Christopher Ruocchio managed to actually conclude this series faster than Chris Brown concludes the Red Rising Saga. So we'll see whether Chris Brown will manage to conclude the Red Rising Saga as good as the Sun Eater, but that's another topic to discuss on another day. For now, I'll just talk about Sun Eater and also Shadows Upon Time. So for those of you who are caught up with the series, I imagine some of your favorite books will probably be either Demon in White or probably Kingdoms of Death, at least, or maybe Howling Dark. That's just my opinion anyway. I know that some also considered Disquiet Gods, and I think all these titles, like all our difference in favoritism regarding which title is our favorite in the Sun Eater series, just goes to show just how good each title in the Sun Eater series are. But for me, my favorites up to this day, like up to reading Shadows Upon Time, is still Demon in White and Kingdoms of Death. But I still cannot decide which one I love more between the two. But after that, it is definitely Shadows Upon Time. But again, I'm speaking based on my thoughts on reading the book for the first time. All the books in the series for the first time. And Shadows Upon Time feels like a book that will improve a lot in my mind after some time goes by. And again, let me just say, all three books, all my top three in the Sun Eater series, Demon in White, Kingdoms of Death, and also Shadows Upon Time, all three of these, they are sci-fi masterpiece. And let me just get this out of the way. When you're reading Howling Dark, this is for reader of Sun Eater who are caught up with the series, I guess, or maybe up to the third book in the series. I think one of the main criticism about Howling Dark is that the difference, the time gap that happens between Empire of Silence up to Howling Dark felt jarring. And yeah, I get that. It was jarring for me as well. And this is one of the things that Christopher Ruocchio immediately fixed in the Shadows Upon Time. And you know, if you have read the Dregs of Empire novella, That's Lorien's novella that takes place after Ashes of Man, but before Disquiet Gods. I think I don't know if I'm the only one who is thinking like this, but I was thinking maybe it would be cool, it would be great to get the perspective of other main characters in this series, not just Hadrian Marlowe, even though he's definitely the best narrator of the entire series. And somehow I did not expect this. Ruocchio actually implement and also forge this into the book, into the narrative in the first 20% of Shadows Upon Time, and the result is actually very organic and incredible in my opinion. I did not expect this at all, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but you will get what I'm talking about when you're reading this. I think the way he implement the multiple narration in the first 20% or the first fifth of the novel, it is actually very clever, and I really enjoyed that. And then after that, if you love Demon in White, I think one of the things that makes Demon in White stand out the most, one of the things, it is the clever distinction in parts. So Demon in White, the way I talk about it is that it is cleverly divided into parts that stands out but connected. All of them are very much connected to one another. And this is another thing that Christopher Ruocchio did again in Shadows Upon Time. And let me remind you this. Shadows Upon Time is the biggest book in the entire series. I think it is 360? Yeah, I think it is 350 or 360,000 words long. So that's about 50 or 60,000 words longer than Demon in White or Disquiet Gods. It is the biggest book in the entire series. It is almost as long as The Way of Kings. And again, I could be wrong on the total word count there. So this book, the way I interpret it, it is divided into 5 parts. And again, they are very much connected into one another. So after the introduction, the 20%, which pretty much dissect into the time gap that happens from Disquiet Gods and also Shadows Upon Time with clever multiple narration, and then we are encountered in the progression of the story. Now, if you have read Empire of Silence, we all know what will happen at the end of the Sun Eater series, and we will get that fire at will after all, right? But yeah, we will get that, the full details of the account of Hadrian Marlowe and the Sun Eater Chronicle. It will happen in Shadows Upon Time. But of course, we don't know the entire full truth and details. This is what makes reading the Sun Eater series so interesting and intriguing to me. And one of the sequence that surprised me a lot, and I think it will stay in my mind for many years to come, it is the Danu sequence, which is the second part of the Shadows Upon Time. This one takes place probably about from the 20% up to 40 or 50% of the book. And it is just so insane. This time in Shadows Upon Time, the final book in the series after all, we finally got to see the full capabilities of Hadrian Marlowe's enemy and villain. It is just so insane and out of this world. And the Danu sequence, there were so many harrowing things, and it was so vivid in my mind. The events that happened in that sequence, it was so vivid, and I did not expect that at all. I did not. Maybe I missed this. I could be missing this from the previous 6 books. I haven't done any reread of the Sun Eater books after all. But the Danu sequence, I did not expect this one to happen at all. And I think Hadrian, Cassandra, and all the remaining characters in the Sun Eater series, all of them are going through an insane ordeal. That's all I can say about this one. And then moving on to the third part of Shadows Upon Time, one of the things that made Demon in White and also some of the other books in the Sun Eater series so damn good, in my opinion, is the way Christopher Ruocchio actually weave intense and deadly political intrigue. And this has happened in Demon in White, and then Disquiet Gods, and of course in Shadows Upon Time as well. And yeah, before we get to the event that is explained by Hadrian Marlowe in the first few chapters of Empire of Silence, we are plunged into the Danu sequence, into that flashback in the first part, and also this exhilarating and pulse-pounding political intrigue. It's just so good. And yeah, I think Kingdoms of Death, which is probably my top favorite book in the entire series, is just absolutely brutal And I'm not saying that Shadows Upon Time is not brutal at all. I think it managed to capture that sense of helplessness and also made us think like, what will Hadrian do to actually escape the situation that, well, he's in, the stupid and also crazy situation that he's in. And you will end up hating one character a lot. I know that that happened to me. I consider this character, and if you have read Demon in White, you will know who I'm talking about. It is the prince. Okay, one of the prince. Let's just say that. I don't know whether that counts as a spoiler. I don't think mentioning this character's name actually counts as a spoiler, but yeah, it is the prince, and he's just so infuriating. I cannot emphasize this highly enough. I hate that character so much, and at the same time, I cannot deny that the presence of this absolutely infuriating character enhance and escalate the plot tension and everything that happened in Shadows Upon Time. And then, of course, the fourth part of the book, it is basically the climax sequence, Gododin, and also the moment of the Sun Eater. I think throughout the entire book, seeing the full arsenal that Hadrian Marlowe has, none of the previous 6 books in the series actually explain in full details just how absolutely destructive the power of the arsenal that Hadrian Marlowe has in Shadows Upon Time. Even though, of course, we know that the sun will be destroyed, the Sun Eater, of course, it is the name of the series. But there was a few more secrets that Hadrian Marlowe has, okay? Some of the things that I'm talking about in this review, I'm trying to avoid from spoilers because this book is not out yet. This book will be out in November. But again, there were a lot of exciting and very much epic moments happening in Shadows Upon Time series, and some of them were things that happen pretty much in JRPG video games. I talk about this with Christopher Ruocchio. We both love Japanese RPGs. And there was this one moment in the fourth part of Shadows Upon Time that was so much reminiscent of many final boss in Japanese RPG, and I was just so gleeful reading that entire sequence. It is an amazing book, just amazing, and again, as I said in the beginning of this video, I felt bittersweet about finishing Shadows Upon Time, but again, this must be. Life moves on, and also a good series must end at the right time, and I think Shadows Upon Time indeed end at the right moment and at the right time. And yeah, I will not spoil you on the events and everything that happened in the climax sequence of Shadows Upon Time. That's up to Hadrian Marlowe to read and to read to you, and you will read the entire thing, the entire event in Hadrian Marlowe's voice. And then finally, the last sequence, basically the last part of Shadows Upon Time, is basically the closing and the epilogue moment of the book, and it is bittersweet. Again, I kept repeating bittersweet, but that's exactly the one word that I would describe Shadows Upon Time for me. It's just an incredible book. It is a masterpiece, a science fiction masterpiece, but at the same time, it is emotional. And there was one part of it that tried to savor my reading experience as long as I could, but you know what? It is time for the ending. And Christopher Ruocchio has mentioned that he's writing another book right now, another series. I know what it is, by the way, and I'm excited about that. I'm super excited about reading that series. But Christopher Ruocchio, I almost called Christopher Ruocchio Hadrian Marlowe because that's just how iconic the narration by Hadrian is. But anyway, Christopher has mentioned that he will return to the world of the Sun Eater. I don't know how it is. It's maybe distant future, but the story between Hadrian and his battle, his struggles against the Yeltsin, is definitely over in the Sun Eater series. And well, there was one passage that Hadrian said in Shadows Upon Time that definitely stuck with me. Life is not it's not a chess game. Like, you win a battle in a chess game and that's it. You win and the game is over and you move on with your life. But that's not something that you can do with your real life. And that's kind of like it encapsulates the ending of the Sun Eater. I don't know how this one will be received by future readers of the series. I think it's absolutely fitting to the series. It is what it managed to fulfill everything that Hadrian Marlowe managed to set out to do in the first place. And personally speaking, I think it is an incredibly satisfying ending to the Sun Eater series. And yeah, yeah, just thinking about it actually makes me feel sad. Yeah, the ending and the epilogue, there were a lot of heartbreaking moments and also very emotional moments. Truly, that's all I can say about this. And it's really hard to talk about Shadows Upon Time because a lot of the events that happen in this book, I feel that it is so much better for you to actually read it for yourself, because this is the details. The devil is in the details, and I think that's pretty much Shadows Upon Time. The devil's in the details. And yeah, I absolutely love Shadows Upon Time. I pretty much gave all the books in the Sun Eater series 5 stars. Yeah, 5 or sometimes even 6 stars, 6 out of 5 stars. The only one that did not actually get a 5 out of 5 stars rating from me is actually the fifth book in the novel, The Ashes of Men. But everything else, yeah, they were all 5 stars. I love every book in the series. I absolutely love every book in the series, and that's pretty much all I can say about my thoughts on Shadows Upon Time. And I envy all of you who will be reading this book for the first time really soon. And to Christopher Ruocchio, I can only say thank you so much for writing these books. This is the kind of science fiction and the kind of science fantasy novels that I love to read. And when I actually reach the acknowledgement page of this hundreds of years story, apparently my name was actually mentioned at the end together with Mike and also Daniel Green. I think, yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome that 3 of us and also many of you who are watching this right now, readers and also reviewers, we can give our voice and our support to actually escalate the power of the storytelling in Christopher Ruocchio and made these books reach more audience. And I think we can safely say that Christopher Ruocchio will reach a bigger audience in the future. And yeah, I think it is well deserved. It is an amazing story. I cannot praise it highly enough. And I think we are absolutely blessed to be living in this time of age where we can read a science fiction series as good as the Sun Eater. So this was another masterpiece conclusion, probably as of now the best concluding volume to a science fiction series that I have ever read. It is just that good. And yeah, I think that's really everything that I can say about Shadows Upon Time without diving into deep spoiler territory. Trust me, it's really hard to talk about this book. There were still so many things that I want to extrapolate upon and also discuss. But again, as I said in one of the parts in this video, it is better for you to read it for yourself. Shadows Upon Time is another masterpiece from Christopher Ruocchio. And again, I can only say thank you so much to Christopher Ruocchio, to Dog Books, and to Baen Books, to everyone involved in the production of this book. It has been a blast. It has been one heck of a journey to be reading the Sun Eater series, and I look forward to reading anything by Christopher Ruocchio next. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's spoiler-free review. I guess that's as spoiler-free as possible, but I'm sorry. I apologize if some of this felt incoherent, or maybe some of this felt like too spoilery. Again, I'm talking about this book without any notes at all. And yeah, do let me know what you think about this book. If you have managed to read the advanced reading copy of Shadows Upon Time. If not, let me know your excitement about Shadows Upon Time, how excited you are about this book. And again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye-bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.